solid start from that. As said, it was mentioned by Ender just moments ago, the way that they have this sort of aggressive style on the PRX side that tries to disrupt you from getting the plant to begin with. So that early fight towards B-Long looked to do just that. But the fact is XLG managed to sort of hold on to their position. And then even find those isolated battles to bring themselves back in. An early pistol and rounds like that, they're going to be worth their weight in gold because, as we said, in terms of who's favorites here, PRX are miles ahead.
Yeah, when those rifles come out, but for now, PRX are left with a Sheriff and a Ghost. An attempt to go for that TP. Through B-Long to catch players in shower, but no one's there. Look how patient and passive XLG are being. Now they have a reason to play like this. They've only got one pistol brought into this, and a Marshall, I suppose, that you can live or lose it, but 3 rifles in play. They can't afford to lose too many, and already seeing that PRX are willing to do this like 4-man early hold on B-Long, you have to be wary of another trap play, and that could do damage even
Malam
like
guys,
this.
malam.
I like the fact that they are taking the time with their initiators to sort of scope out some potential aggressive spots. But with both pieces of that wingman utility already down, I think PRX can now make the read like, okay, no one's come to retrieve that. We should start pressuring this side of the map, and the timing, oh, it's not going to work out. Luckily, Coconut looks back at the last second. Well, I was going to say he gets an upgrade, he does not.
Well, this is getting a little dangerous. One player down, another low. Jing's able to escape as well. You're still in this 3v4.
They're going back, though.
Happyway's got a lot of control. Expectation of this round is that XLG will be the ones taking it. My question is how much damage can be done, because Nomad already looking like an easy pickup if they can get that one-on-one. But first, they've got to get past Happyway, and oh, what a shot! No danger from Forsaken anymore.
Yeah, luckily, versus the pistol, you'll sometimes get that second bite of the cherry. Patman obviously on the wrong side of the map, but it may come down to PRX just wanting to make sure they don't give too many orbs over to the other side. You can see Nomad already getting fairly close to having his ultimate if a kill or 2 extra goes his way, and I don't think with how they play, you don't want Seekers online. As if they're going to get in your face, they're going to take map control. Seekers ruins that completely, so I think it will just be death to the Spike, and that will mean that those 4 guns are kept through into the next round, although the Marshal might be removed anyway.
Patman is trying to secure them, but that TP is going to be taken, and they will be far, far away.
Does he go in?
He's going through, and there's one! A little more would have been beautiful. Yeah, it's only going to be the Marshal removed in the end. XLG, a 2-0 start.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Relax, relax, PRX, relax, relax,
This
relax.
is the timing. I was so ridiculously close to
Payal.
potentially just having the full force of PRX swinging in onto them. Of course, for either side, like we've seen some strong results. Obviously for PRX, I think it's over the last few months, they're 5-0 on this map. So it is a very bold call to pick into this as a choice. Although a dominant victory for XLG versus DRG maybe is the reason. They were stellar on their defensive side, but then again, we didn't get to see much of the attack.
Round 3, few upgrades over on XLG. They brought another rifle through. They've got a Bucky.
I was about to say, is the Bucky the upgrade?
And you know, you see, no, the other rifle, the 4th rifle is, to be clear, that the Bucky is, defense, you can see there's so many areas that you can use shotguns in, whether it be Lamps or Hookah. We've seen rounds won because of Judges, Buckies, or even Shorties.
Yeah.
But on attack, it's a little bit harder to find space to use that.
Well, yeah, it's currently using the Sheriff as a primary weapon and the Bucky as the backup. Maybe if they can get into some sort of post plant where he has his utility available, but they're just looking to put a little bit of pressure back towards long. Prowler will be used by Patman. So they will have a reasonable idea. Again, it seems like XLG's planning for the most of this is to try and sell a ruse on either side, and it's worked. They've kept 3 players over on A. They've put smokes in on that side of the map. It's whether or not the rest of the team now rotate in towards A, and whether or not PRX get back in time. They were halfway to the B side.
Of course.
Yeah, PRX, yes.
Now the rotates come back through. Players flood the site, and PRX are here on time. They're ready for the battle, but the smokes are blocking them out as the plant goes down. Undeniable. Something, though, has managed to find 2. That should be mostly, if not all, through the smokes. Another from Jing, but they're holding on. They still have a chance on XLG. 2 players sitting inside a bathroom. The flash blinds the first. Happyway good on the swing, but they know exactly where the man is. with no element of surprise. Close as this may have been, 8 HP with regen shields on Jing. The Paper X are still going to find the round. Pretty costly, though, all in all.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea. Like, it's almost sold as a double fake. Like, you get that early kill after putting all your smokes in. It's an attempted ruse, and then you teleport back at the last second. I think the only actual problem, or the real spanner in the works, was Forsaken putting the Molotov. It means that the only space you're fighting from is the showers. Like, there's no other angle, even though you could see that Paper X were diligent in checking those positions. I think they also had a snakebite late into the round. I do wonder if maybe that could have gone through a little bit sooner, but nonetheless, there's still going to be another purchase coming in for XLG. That was a bonus of sorts. And now there are some weaknesses on the side of Paper X. A Stinger in play.
That's the downside of losing so many players. Monsters on the loose right away. Something able to TP away, but lots of space taken. That gets them very early on XLG in towards the lamps. They haven't got control of it. Back through to take that space. They'll look for this deep fight alongside his teammate Divide. The flash popped. Here, though, he's able to already find the first. Raga from further back cleans up more, and XLG.
Flawless Lanto.
Phenomenal. The rifles in their hand, barely a scratch, and indeed a flawless round for XLG, the underdogs, but it doesn't look like it.
No, that was really, really clean from them. I think they almost lose Raga on the way in initially.
Are you okay, PRX? Are you okay?
In taking those fights together, not allowing the sort of pressure of those sort of fight backs in. And they were very ready for any of that aggression. It is surprising that there wasn't even a trade in the mix of it, like Tomatoes from his teammate, but ultimately managed to get the job done.
Are you okay, PRX?
Early breakback, considering two players were only surviving in the last from his incredibly poor for Paper X going into the next one.
That's about as bad of a start as you could expect. And you think about pressure in this scenario. On one side of the stage for XLG, there's almost none. Losing to Paper X, no one's going to question that. But on the other
time
side,
out tunggal and time out PRX.
Run here, if you're going to continue to defend that title, well, this one you'd almost want it to look clean. XLG, they're pulling out all the stops, and they've got a timeout from X. This pressure 5. This is a big blow on the other side, but we know Paper X. They're a squad that's capable of bouncing back. You certainly can. They've got a one, like you said, the credits are going to be in tatters. Although also knowing Paper X, those are the kind of rounds they win.
Yeah, that's always the issue. I like the fact that we are seeing the early check.
Aman aja.
I think if there's any coach in the world that I have faith that he can spot the bad tendencies of its team, it is that man. I think there was a thing earlier, how early will he slam the desk? I don't know if we caught one within round 4, but it might have been the case just because of how clean that was. For now, though, after that early check-in, and now looking at XLG, you want to get these early starts. As said, the last time out when they played in Toronto, they didn't manage a map. In fact, they weren't particularly close. The best scoreline they had was a 13-8 defeat to G2. But this is a new tournament with a different player within the roster. No man, probably one of the few players that has played within the Chinese league and also played Northeast in EMEA. I don't think there's going to be too many of those.
Oh, the blind was so well timed. Forsaken was about to throw a spanner in the works up close with the bookie. The taste of the same medicine XLG tried to feed their opponents just a few rounds ago. But the blind stopped any of that impact from coming through. XLG still sitting on full health, full shields on all players. Spike left back towards the spawn. This early posturing from the team is just about denying that control from Paper X, finding the points where they like to play aggressive, which at this point it's very clear to see it's B long. And then late on, making the decision on where they go.
But normally they have a look. That's the difference. Every other round they've had one player probing the other side of the map. Now, a TP back to the other side would be so risky when you don't have any space. So instead they are walking into the stacked up side. That's where Jing is waiting. Showstopper popped as well. And this is just moments of madness coming in. No man, 10 seconds to try and save the day, and he had a chance, but Jing is just too
nice.
A MasterCard thrifty, and what blink, and Paper X are back in the game.
Yeah, welcome to playing against Paper X. This is really what it's all about. A 4-1 lead looking likely for XLG, and it is shut down. The bookie one of the heavier investments they had. It doesn't find much. It's taken out of play, and the pistols, alongside the showstopper, are what gets it done in the end. For PRX, well, that is certainly one way to correct the flow of the game, but XLG, even having a flawless round in the mix of rounds they won, they're in a decent position to still buy up into this one. They've got credits to their back, and the showstopper that made all the difference for Jing is now online for Rarga.
It's definitely a bit of a worrying sign. As I said, what they were doing in the, especially in their bonus round, they did very well to sort of like keep space on both sides of the map, and I think you see the problem if they don't. Like, they didn't have that information. They went into the sight blind, and that's where some of those superstars can thrive. But now at least, they are still in the lead. Claiming those orbs once again. Coconut is getting ever closer to having his thrash for, I believe, the second time already in this map.
Round 6, a minute left on the clock. It's XLG's time to decide where they go. Big TP comes through. Still players around here in a deep push that's already come through from Forsaken. He's looking the wrong way. Gets flanked on, but not before he can take down Happyway. Giving them a chance still as they push forward. The showstopper desperately searching for Jing, and it's found him. A connection that puts the advantage in their favor for just a moment. No, and a 2 versus 3 with the old pop by something. He's finding these players, at least one spotted already. I don't know that he saw the Bath fade away, but he has given Devi the information. Devi knows there's a player around one of these corners, and they'll fight this together, but Rarga goes back. And XLG just need to buy time.
They've got plenty of positions that need to be cleared. Devi needs to win this fight. They're going to have a chance. Rarga instant on the trigger.
Safe.
Something realizes, okay, 3 players to find. I managed to get the first, but anything more than that, and my operator is at risk. So he's going to have to fade out of the round. Another victory for XLG. Honestly, after losing a round like they just did, a very good recovery.
Well, that's it. A wise man once said, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep on going. And for XLG, that previous round, that was a lights out connection to the jaw, but they managed to bounce back here and now, and it's even with some of these extra plays from PRX, sneaking a player straight down through mid, man behind enemy lines, and still they deal with him every step of the way, catching that flank as well early, and Rarga showing that he's got the brawn to deal with Devi early on.
Well, what I was going to say, that is still a bit worrying for me, that late TP. Because I don't mind the Sky Flash that cleared things out, but if Forsaken is looking the other way, that round could have gone very differently. So I think it's something to keep an eye on. XOG are gambling a little bit with some of their rotations, and this round, well, it's much more direct.
Already taken so much space. Lamps pushed back by the nade, but they're going to stand on that corner, ready for the fight. Double swing back in, and it's Jing to take 2. XLG down by 2 men. Spike lost as well. They have got a big fight on their hands, and the Prowler actually didn't re-clear anything that isn't being held already. The flash going through. There's no one following it up. They're burning utility here on XLG. They need to start winning fights and start winning them soon. There's 3 players on this spike. How can they possibly get it back? Fighting through those numbers, and one of the players up close has a judge in hand. This looks like a death sentence if they even try it, but they've got to.
Yeah, they were dreaming of having an ultimate or 2 in this scenario, and well, Happyway does have the Viper's Pit. Could try and put it into Lamps. It would be a very bold strategy, but it would at least lower the HP of some of the others.
Nice
Molotov instead will force Forsaken forward, and he's been cleared, and there goes the Viper's Pit. They just want to try and cover these players off, and then they put the Molotov in front, so nobody could be in position. Jing, though, once again, has managed to catch another, and they have spotted that this is not being planted. They know it's going back the other way. This puts something in a position where he could catch them.
Ready on the angle. It's a clean shot from something. Last man spotted. 12 seconds on the clock. A plant at this point seems impossible. Indeed, it will be with so many players here. Happyway has no choice but to save this weapon, and PRX will be taking a 3rd. The gap is closing in on XLG.
It's one where I just think a lot of it comes down to Jing. Like those first opening kills, like sure there was a player with a judge in position, but it's Jing that ends up landing both of those shots. I think he also then gets the next kill that they find as well in the mix of all the madness. Yeah, that was it. It was No Man sort of running back out, and then even just Devi having that little bit of extra information. I don't mind the adaptation though. As I said, the molly into the Viper's Pit, it's not a bad idea. It's just the fact that something was still waiting on the other side. Like PRX had that contingency plan.
Yeah, I think a walkthrough from Devi as well got them early information. Wrapping around that pit, it could have ended there. Deep play from Jing. Reveal. He'll get two from it. It didn't see anyone else, but he knows there's corners to hide in. Waiting for his moment in the smoke as another two push down. Already having cleared outside of Hookah, and now it's time to make that big swing. In goes Jing, and out goes XLG. Their lead no longer in play. It's a 4-4 scoreline between PRX and XLG. An early fight from the attackers, but now they're starting to cool down.
It hasn't yet shattered the race, but it's also just the manner they're losing some of the ground. Jing is on fire. Like, you've tried to put Raga in onto the raise, and don't get me wrong, he's not been bad. Jing is currently 3. You put down the reveal, he's able to get 2 kills through the smoke while spotting out those players.
Just hiding there.
It's a scary prospect. Because we already know that when this man is playing the raise, there are few that can match. And within the first 8 rounds of the game, we're going to get our second timeout. Both coaches being incredibly proactive. But you can understand why. It's a match that PRX, obviously, they don't want to lose their opening game on their run to potentially a back-to-back trophy. And XLG know that, hey, we might be playing one of the best teams in the tournament, but you go into that lower bracket, it might not get much easier.
Exactly. And the reality is, I think this is
Just dulu, just tapi dulu. I'm out. XLG 8-4 guys ya. Ronde ke-8 guys.
And that's given the breadcrumbs, the trail for PRX to fall back into this game from the coaching staff perspective. You got to get in there early, highlight those things that when you're talking about them in scrims or after scrims, you're doing your VOD reviews, you identify these problems, but putting them into action on the stage, that's a different thing entirely.
Musuhnya ada 3 ulti, PRX juga ada 3 ulti guys ya. Untuk info aja, XLG ini dia dari China ya guys.
But this is a turning point. They lose this, economy in the bin, PRX on a streak.
It's going again.
And it's the same play. B, reveal sees nothing, Flash gets nothing, and now it's all onto the A site.
Yeah, they've got so much information though. They're already starting that flank seconds into the round.
Something.
That takes that one.
Something.
Molotov over the top as well. Something just out of the back. He knows that he doesn't need to re-aggress from this point onwards. Viva needs to put up a play, and in fact, it's going to be the orbital strike committed to just try and force them back. That will buy his team not only some space, but a little bit of extra time.
Oh, and here we go. The showstopper activated. Jing on a tear has another to work with, and it's Coconut down. The player deep towards the bathroom is Viva, and he is out of the action, but Nomad and Rarga making it happen on site. Defuse tap, but Seekers see that no one's on it. Spray almost dropping a few. Look how low the health bars are for XLG, but they are holding on tooth and nail till Nomad's caught with a knife out, and now it's all onto Viva. He's got to be quick, down to the 1v1, but time is already gone. XLG up to 5 with a Red Bull clutch.
It's just chaos. That round was absolute chaos. Ults being thrown in left, right, and center. Just the pace of that flank, I thought it was going to be a massive problem, but I think just spotted out by Viva, that's just filthy. Like, I don't even know how he can spot that. Just the reactions of someone like something, but yeah, just being able to deny that flank long enough, you could see the rest of the team then garner extra space. Otherwise, they were going to be stuck in that corner. A big clutch to be won.
Good round. So many
still though, economy-wise, I think XLG is still in a worse spot here. Those ultimates that they had have been expended, and the only one
something masih dengan snipernya guys ya.
Viper's Pit for early control. B long, as we said, it's been a focus for those early fights of PRX, and we've certainly seen it with the deep dives from Jing. I think that's been more apparent. But now the aggression's coming in elsewhere. Forsaken. Oh, he's looking at his timing. It's through no fault of his own. It's just being slightly off, and XLG, they find the advantage as a result. But still to deal with is something on that operator. And once they walk through that wall, big danger awaits. Jing's the one to draw first blood. And patience on something might get him a reward. Instead, he goes for the wingman. Delays the plant.
Trying to slow them a little bit. Falling for the rotation of the remaining players, but it's a little bit labored. I think the amount that XLG have been taking those TPs has started to get into the head of PRX, conditioning them to not rotate quite as quickly as maybe they
Kelas
were.
something.
Well, talking of quickly, this man is so fast with that operator and already clearing out that lamp's position. It leaves just two. Make that
Kelas
standing.
something.
Only Diva left. A nice couple of shots though. Maybe in with a charge and he gets
Kelas itu.
clutch from Viva.
Wild
Done that.
That is going to haunt PRX for the rest of this game. Maybe this week, maybe this tournament. Two players not even looking. They're so locked in on the spike.
It's day one. It's
Wild anjing.
having clutches like this already. Like, this is a 1v4. And look at this final kill. He didn't even know where the Jing was. He didn't know where he was being shot from. It's like, oh, this hurts.
That is one of the most ridiculous things I've seen. PRX, they win the rounds they shouldn't. They lose the ones they should. Something on Naraga now. PRX are angry. They're getting aggressive, but Viva, he is fighting right back. 6 kills in a row for him now.
Per second goblok ini tuh.
I don't know what happened to him since last round, but XLG 4v3, and it's all thanks to Viva.
Oh, you know, they say the Viva la France. Maybe he's just found his home. Like, I don't know what's going on. But whatever happens, anybody who walks into the crosshair of something
cek belakang. Batman.
He's got the flank. Again, it's the same scenario. The guy from PRX gets one immediately shot in the back. The timing, good and bad, I suppose. Wait up. We're back to a 2v2 though, and that op is still lurking around, but on this side of the map, it's only Divine. He doesn't last long. No hand Sky able to take him down. And the op, all that stands for PRX. This could be a 7-4 lead for the underdog.
It's still, you know, something is alive. He's going with the operator. Knows at least where the opponents on the other side are sitting. He's going to try and just get it to half. Honestly, that's not bad. He will have to deal with the Tiger. And they now have to swing this. They have to go looking because he's already managed to get it halfway through.
Kelas.
What? A 1v2 where he has an operator and he manages to isolate both fights. Oh, it makes no sense, Mitch. It makes no sense.
Kelas. Kelas bang something, kelas.
This time it's on PRX's
side. Kelas.
This swing wide as well. Caught Happy way off guard. He thought he had the jump on him. And something jumps to his feet. A frustrating loss. What could have been a 7-4 lead, a guaranteed lead at the halftime.
They won a 1v4 the round before. Like, if we're going, balance has been restored in the world.
Absolutely. Perfectly balanced. As all rounds should be. Back and forth we go, but for PRX, this is where they want to bring it up one more. 6-6 at the halftime. 3 pistols that PRX are up against. A huge advantage to the defenders, but already a lot of space taken by XLG.
A large amount of invested utility. That's most of what they have. Dimensional drift utilized, but an immediate first kill. The trade again has gone back the other way, but this time the weaponry advantage starting to take control. It's like to Happy way. A 1v4, but this time only with a pistol, and there is no hope. There should be no hope, and eventually the job gets done. It is a dead even half, and honestly, Mitch, I think it's about right. I think it's about right. 6-6 seems fair.
6-6. It's 6-6, yeah?
No.
And then 5 rounds in, it's not the half I expected to see either, because XLG were dominating.
Maybe not even the half I wanted to see. There was some stuff happening
come
there.
Come on, I'm here for the 4K Red Bull clutches all day long. This has been a competitive one, and like we said, XLG underdogs, but there's no reason to count them out. PRX, even in rounds where they're underdogs, they show us just how hard you can swing when you're fighting up, and I think after this half, it's anyone's guess what is going to be going on when we go to half number 2. I'll tell you what, before we get there, we've got a halftime break in Germany.
Jason tapi lagi ampas sih guys, Jason guys.
Who's standing by with a special guest. It's Jing's mom.
Bonjour à tous. On est en direct pour ce premier jour des Champions, en direct des arènes avec la maman de Jing qui a voyagé à travers le monde pour soutenir son fils. It's a pleasure to welcome you, Pearl, to Champions Paris following Jing as always. So this is going to be my first question. What makes you follow your son in all his adventures? What are you the most proud of him?
I'm very proud of him, but the real reason why I'm following him is because my son doesn't know how to pack his luggage. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good answer. And you know, you always need your mom's help, you know, for this stuff, even if you're an adult. Donc première question, qu'est-ce qui fait que vous venez soutenir votre fils comme ça à l'autre bout du monde? Et bah tout simplement, il ne sait pas faire sa valise. Donc je suis avec lui pour un petit peu toutes ces étapes-là. We're speaking about Paris, you know, the city of light, the city of love, but also the city of very good food. So have you been able to try any? What do you want to try?
We tried the escargot.
Escargot?
Yes, it's really good. And my son's favorite. And also we went to this really good hot chocolate place, Carrette.
Okay.
Carrette.
Carette. Yeah, it's really fantastic, and we are going back again.
Oh, you're gonna be back again for sure. Donc, est-ce que tu as pu tester un petit peu de la nourriture française? On le sait, on est connu pour l'amour, pour notre belle ville, mais aussi pour notre nourriture. Et du coup, oui, j'ai testé les escargots. Jing a adoré. C'est son plat préféré.
Zoom super, merci. Comment pour
Jing brings back the victory on this first match. Let's get back to the game.
Alright, guys, alright.
Chocolat chaud et escargot. Not a bad palate, I have to say. Some sweet treats in there. And when you look at this game, another sweet treat for us and all the folks at home and here in the venue at Paris. This 6-6 scoreline, Tom, it certainly caught us off guard. PRX clear favorites, we would think, but it's been a back and forth game as we get into the Coinbase Econ report.
Yeah, no surprise to see Jing is very high up on that one. He's been having a pretty damn good game so far, but in all honesty, it has been this sort of like, who is going to win the round for PRX, or on the other side, it feels like anybody can step up. Jing and Something definitely leading the way in terms of just the individual brilliance, 16-7, 14-7. Both have had their rounds, but yeah, that Viva clutch, the 1v4 to start the tournament, I don't know, that's going to be difficult to top. I'm sure somebody will at some point, but honestly, madness in this first half. And the good thing is, obviously, data incredibly low because we haven't seen much of it from the side of XLG other than their victory versus DRG, but they were way better on defense. So
let's go.
They come in and this is now their favored half.
Well, that's exactly what Ender was saying on the desk, right? Like, he wanted to see how XLG would perform on the defense because, yes, this is a squad that evidently has the individuals to match up. But the reality is, for PRX on the attack, that is where they can really pull out all the stops, where they can play like madmen. And we'll look at this pistol round to finally give an advantage in this half to one team or the other. For PRX, it was 4 players towards B-Long on their defensive side. They had a firing squad ready and waiting, but still, XLG took the cake. Will it be the same in half number 2?
There are 3 players ready and waiting on the A site. TP is still available. You never know if they'll double back in. They're using the Viper screen to take themselves a lot of additional space. Jing has already made it round the backline. Nade over the top is going to make this very awkward for Viva in position. In fact, not awkward, he's gone down. The remaining 2 players still in position, but Jing is just running right. Eventually he should fall, but there's a trade to be had.
Yeah, finally. It comes through. Something sneaking about. He's gone into the spot, and Happy Way was none the wiser. No, man. The last one standing.
Kenapa ini dengan persakaan, guys?
A big swing to come through from Devi. He's the first to fall. Now down to a 1v2. Bite-sized, manageable, but his back turned to Something, and that will be a death sentence.
Untung ada Something sama Jing, guys.
7-6. Pistols 1-1.
Yeah, they've now taken themselves the lead in the game, and I'll be looking to see if there is any sort of response. The amount
Forsaken lagi bapuk, guys.
Off the back of the Viper screen, maybe not something you'd expect in most rounds. Maybe a little bit of extra utility available in that part of the map, but it did make it quite difficult once that wraparound had already come in through the lamps.
Forsaken lagi bapuk, Forsaken lagi bapuk.
Or sight control for XLG. A Happy Way. He had a Bucky on attack. Now he's got a Bucky on defense, but I'm a little bit happier to see where he's playing with it in this round.
Yeah, perhaps a bit more normal. As we said, whether you're in Lamps or Hookah, those shotguns can do a lot of damage, and I think there's good reason that PRX are avoiding those closer range engagements straight up through B-Long. Again, this has been, I feel like, the hot spot on the map for this team, but it's not looking too good to start. Luckily, Jing's there to pick up the pieces. Patman down. They lose that Fade utility. They lose the ability to see what's behind that wall. Do they decide to still go bursting through as XLG have made the rotate?
Pindah po Oco.
Witnessed early the power of that double flash, the Sky Gecko. A guaranteed.
Kelas.
Okay. Oh, okay, gets through the bucket. Does at least a little bit of damage, but there were definitely some weaker weapons in hand. So, although I think the Marshal has been kept over a Spectre, it really doesn't make much of a difference, and they will at least keep themselves the rifles.
Marshal over a Spectre, I'll take that deal any day coming into the next round.
It depends what your plan is.
No, I'll take it any day. We've already seen the no-scopes work. But we'll see as we move on to the next. This is where XLG, you know, all those good deeds will be
Di sono lah, Cok.
going out with
Asal ledak. No.
We want to see them taking the fight to PRX here, but it's not easy. This bonus round, if you want to even call it that, it's only one Bulldog that's at a disadvantage for the attacking side. Sprays through again. B-Long, 4 players there. It seems like this is just PRX's first 15-second plan in so many of the rounds, and it does almost get them first blood. No man's on half. The nade is, that's doing a lot of damage. Desperately low. He's in the open. Somehow gets one before he falls.
Don't
He
say
didn't just take the TP, but
yeah,
clearly don't want to give up.
Jason, what's wrong with you, Jason?
Willing to sacrifice his life to battle for, especially when his teammate had full control over showers already. So it wasn't even a risk, really, going through that TP with the Viper screen available as well. Forsaken, even on low HP, still brawling though. 45 when he took that fight, but now leaves a couple of opponents tagged up as well.
Yeah, if Viva walks out of this round with a 4K, I think we pause for an investigation. Down to 6 HP, 25 up on the shields, at least the regen. Keeping him relatively healthy, and he's on his way. Smoke's already down. Mosh pit to buy a little bit of time, but the plant hadn't even been tapped yet. 35 seconds, still plenty to play with for PRX, and they've sent Forsaken through to the B site. He's finding himself a pick. They can go for the TP now. They can wrap back around, but they've already gone in towards the site.
Can Patman escape? They've had to use a smoke across, and no, Raga spams. That was the problem. He didn't make it into the TP in time. Forsaken had hit his timing, but the rest of the team were fairly well committed. Maybe a little bit of a mix-up in what was the plan. And while for Forsaken, his only choice now is to run, grab the spike, and try and plant on the A site. I don't think he has time for that anymore. Too wary of where his opponents are going to be. XLG, just based on, I feel like the havoc that PRX caused themselves, have been able to win the round.
Yeah, indeed. You know, you look at this situation as if you just stick that play towards the A side. Already so much of the utility burned up from XLG. They don't have the mosh pit to deny. And maybe they could have found success. Great pick from No Man, considering he was so desperately low. But yeah, you start seeing players fall back, pull forward.
Ntar Bang Kico bisa dijogo nih, Cok.
Like one of the last bullets.
I think it was literally the last bullet from Raga. Ends up dropping the spike, which could have made it to the TP a little bit earlier.
Marah. Marah guys ya.
That was the quote-unquote bonus round. Now they come in with a Guardian instead of the Bulldog in the previous, but a big weapon that is in play is the Showstopper. Right onto Viva.
This is a cheeky little off angle though from Raga. He's finding in the smoke. Well, doesn't get rewarded for it. Does at least deny the plant for now, but with the amount of space that's already there, it seems like it's going to be a lot more commitment in this round from PRX, not risking the rotate back. They've done well to clear out Jing though, and we'll even things up once again.
It's going to be a very late play coming in from something. The wraparound taking quite a while. The steps are going to be heard. He's heard Coconut, but Coconut didn't hear him, and pops the ult. It's disastrous. Something's going to be right on them with No Man in the dog as well. It's a double kill. Something. It looked like he was late to the party, but he ends up winning the round for PRX.
Let's go. Let's go, team. Let's go.
And a 9th round for PRX as a result.
I think with just how direct that initial
Let's go.
was, I don't think there was any expectation that somebody would be lurking on the other side of the map. Like, if they were a little bit quicker, that could have all gone wrong, but instead, and rightly so, they go back and they go, okay, yeah, let's try and take this one slow. Let's use the Thrash to clear out all of these risky positions, and because of it, they get caught, they get bitten.
Happyway is having a terrible time.
Pass. Batman ngantuk tuh guys.
Unfortunately for XLG, that was all of their money invested. Forsaken is going to spot this out, but this is just a shooting range. Up against no weaponry, and while Happyway he's going to try and take this fight with a bucky. There's absolutely no hope. A flawless round for PRX, and any economy
Tiga lagi guys,
are
tiga lagi.
immediately dissipated.
Here it is, the new skin, the new finisher. 3 more needed for PRX if you're having trouble figuring out what's between 10 and 13. And this is what we're worried about, right? It's about once that ball gets rolling, the snowball effect on PRX, the individual confidence sky high, something playing one of the latest.
Tiga lagi.
And it working out.
Let's go.
Sign for XLG. They need to bounce back.
Cing gila si Cing kill 22 guys.
The timer frozen, and indeed it is going to be a pause for
Something kill 20.
That takes many brain cells to work out, though. They have started to slip and slide, and it's PRX who seems set to take this map. Perhaps not the series, but you have to remember they chose Sunset up next. Whatever we think about that, they must have ideas.
Oh, for sure.
Yung Chino siya guys, basta English yes. Pusing siya.
But that does feel like a bit of a weird week for PRX in general. Other than that, confident win over T1 and over the last few months
sinyo.
victories versus a lot of top teams. So I don't think they're going to be too worried going into that matchup. And on the other side of things, well, XLG got decimated by DRG on that map. So I think that this is, even though this is a very, very good map for PRX and maybe overall a solid sign for XLG, you also have to then consider the rest of the group. Like an informed-looking GX Sentinels. Like I think most people would have PRX Sentinels making it out based on previous tournaments. And for XLG, although a loss to PRX is nothing to be ashamed of, it's very similar to what we saw at the prior event where, oh, you lost to G2 and Sen. You didn't do bad, though. It's like, well, it doesn't matter.
Well, exactly. As we said, the pain of nearly. For XLG, that's what's going to haunt them. They come in today, you tell them you're going to lose 2-0, 2-1 to PRX. Okay, fine. As long as we put up a fight, but then you tell them you could have won, you were close.
Yeah.
You had the
At least in the first half.
Hey, in the first half, absolutely. This could have been a 7 or 8 round half from them, but this is the moment where they can't leave anything on the table. Where are those signs of life? Rifles in hand, a lot of light shields. Ult's not really there for the defenders, but for the attackers, they've got all the info. Something's already seen these players on site. Orbital strike comes through, play inside the smoke. Flashes, even though it didn't hit, it surely did. We're down to a 3 versus 4. Full control for PRX with Viva down. Swarmed from all sides. And XLG have to fight an uphill battle, but the first steps go swimmingly.
That's not bad. A couple of low players as well. The swing, Coconut has managed to bring this round into contention. A 2 versus 4 that, I'll be honest, looked impossible. Raga, I wasn't even sure if he was going to go for it, but when Coconut puts that into play, there's a chance. Even still, Forsaken and Divide, normally a safe pair of hands. The defenders, they're going to group up. They're going to try and join each other, but the swing for Forsaken isolates the battle. It gives Raga a chance once again, and the swing
the fight
is all he needs as XLG win the 2v4.
That is a huge win, and we heard it from him in the interview. As I said earlier, this is a guy that said he just wants to prove that he's some of these players, a team that we've seen with the 5 duelists come before. But he can match up against them. That's devastating for Happyway. Thank God they had that clutch in the end. Your scoreline stays close down to a gap of 2 thanks to this man here. Look how desperately close it was. Close ain't good enough for PRX. Gap of 2.
Come on, bro. Jerry, yung Chino yan orang
definitely seeing some of those blips. The 1v4, 2v4, PRX making a fair amount of mistakes.
Batman ngantuk, Batman.
But XLG are doing well to capitalize off of them. Coconut with a huge individual round and basically keeping them in the match. That would have been their economy not only wrecked, but also PRX being just a couple away from taking their own map choice. And they do have to be careful in this round. Light shields on every player bar 1. And that sniper for something, think about the first half and how much it caused them issues. They can't afford to give this man a fight.
Not at all. You end up getting lit down 140 in this to 10 HP, and it's much guaranteed pickup for PRX when the utility bombardment comes through. There's the Outlaw already spotted with the decoy sent through. Flash finds nothing but it. Always the danger that that's a Yoru on his own, ready to gate crash, but now the Flash confirms that the big play is coming through. They've taken Jing out of the sky. No Man's got two. The Patman tries his best to pull it back, yet it's left all onto Divide. He's got 3 to take down. The first comes easy, but 25 seconds. A Viper's Pit online. He might even have time to get this up after the plant. From where is the question? With the showstopper hunting him down, it looks like he wants to stand his ground. He wants to take the pick, but decides to fall back a little too late. Rarga again getting the round on the board in the final stages for XLG, and a 10-9. The signs of life very much there.
Yeah, like doubling up in that corner, it definitely seemed like a gamble. You know that if a player runs through and just maybe even gets a little bit lucky, it could have been your round over, but I think that's been something that XLG have done great so far in this match, is that surprise factor.
What's wrong, PRX?
So hard to read that even when you have a full bombardment of utility, they're able to come out with an advantage. And even then, just I like him watching Coconut play. Like, even though he ends up going down in the fight versus Divide, his goal is to stay alive. He's not
Let's
trying
go.
to put the team on his back. He is
Kemarin
chasing
bahasa
his
Inggris
target. Let's
anjir.
buy as much time as possible for my team.
Snake bite landing on long, denying that control for XLG. But it's towards the A site that the real fight is coming in. And the reaction from XLG very early on, they pop the Thrash. They see players inside of Bath, but that Thrash not retrievable, not finding the impact. It's a glorified drone.
Coconut doesn't want to hold it for a retake again. Oh, the nades are going to be exchanged, but it's Divide almost using the destruction of a teammate.
Nice.
3 players immediately down.
Nice.
We've seen a 1v4 or 2v4.
Satu lagi,
We've
satu
definitely not
lagi.
seen a 1v5, and I don't think
Oke,
is going to give
saving
the
guys.
time of day. And this is what I felt like has been the difference between the two squads, though. It feels like when XLG win a round, it is by the skin of their teeth. It is very close. It's maybe a player or two surviving or a clutch round. When PRX win a round, well, as of yet, there's not a point of damage done.
I know it's kind of bad of you to assume Viva's not winning this 1v5 with time ticking and Spike on the other side of the map. But I agree with you entirely, in all seriousness. Like, PRX, like you said, they look dominant in some of the rounds that they're taking. XLG, it's clutches. It's thriving in the chaos, back and forth, trading blows. Viva will even get out of here with the Guardian. You've heard the TP, so did he. The smoke buys him a little bit of extra space. Looks like he's okay.
Hampir
32
saja.
HP, though. That was close to disaster. 11-9. PRX 2 away. XLG 2 behind. It still is anyone's game, but there's a problem brewing, Tom.
Yeah, this is the issue. When you have so many casualties in the round that you win. Okay. Yeah, right. I'm glad that the player
he saw him earlier.
The player was highlighted. It's like, yeah, and then he just banged him through smoke. Just off time.
He obviously calculated how far.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Dua lagi, guys.
I think he has a ruler on stage. Well,
Cheers allowed.
the buy is abysmal.
I mean, a good chance to catch them if they do go through that pit, having the judge investment. The problem is, when you look at the tab as PRX and you see, okay, they don't have much money, and you see a pit go up, if you decide to go through that pit, you're insane. Now, PRX are insane.
Sometimes they,
so
yeah,
there is a chance they do that. It's actually rated against them, but yeah, generally speaking, that's just not going to find the value. We have to look elsewhere. And of course, you can't force stack B because you have to clear that Bath wraparound.
The other thing will be the assumption of a stack, though. It's if you see that pit, you're mostly probably going to assume maybe it's just one player there. It really is a game of playing the odds. 45 seconds left. Viper screen definitely causing them issues before with the amount that it's been able to delay, but this time they're through it with relative ease. Actually going to commit the orbital strike. They're going to try and isolate players. Viva has done well. The problem is he has been lost. Jing again with another high impact round. The rest of the team have plenty of time to make their way into
Satu
the
lagi.
site. We've spoken about the clutches, what XLG have managed to bring home, but this one I would really, well, I expect a hole in the desk if PRX let this one slip.
I expect a hole in the desk from XLG's coaching staff, though. This feels like
Class, Batman.
You come
Oh,
into this
no.
round where you've got next to nothing, where you're fighting if you lose for PRX. 3 rounds in a row, 3 chances in a row to close it, and a pit and an orbital strike put through. And that feels like such a
Pit
heavy
mau,
leaving
Bo.
them with nothing for this buy round.
I guess the look here is that, okay, now we have two chances, once with the ultimates and once with the rifles, rather than having one
All
chance
in. Okay.
to all in. I don't necessarily mind it. Like, I do get what you're saying, like, especially when you're up against someone like PRX. But I do feel like there's also the thing of, like, you could have both those ult and then still lose, and then you've just given them the other.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the pit I'm not against. Orbital strike caught me off guard.
Oh, here we go.
Down one. Here goes Showstopper, and there it goes. It's gone. Rarka snipes him out of the sky.
Great
Pop on the
flash.
flash. Won't find much else. And another popped in as Viva struggles up.
Oh.
Finds himself too. Now, inside the smoke, he will fall. But he's given his team a fighting chance. The problem is, with that Viper's pit going up, they now have an uphill battle to get anywhere near that spike. That's close.
Hampir.
But he doesn't go back till it's too late for the spam.
Yeah, I think maybe assume that he let go. They're going to know that both players likely confined to this pit. Although Patman has managed to leave. The drop will be known, and it's risky from Divide, but the risk pays off, and now No Man left alone. Pit going to be dropped, and Divide is there to close it. It was a valiant effort from XLG, a fight back and
Game
forth.
pertama.
Ultimately, the job expected to be won, and was won by PRX.
Well, this is expected result, but an unexpected way we got here, right? This was quite a journey. XLG showing us that they've got the ability to take PRX, to push them to their limits, and they'll have to do the same on Sunset, PRX's map, after this break.
Dude, actually cannot believe we are playing already our first match.
Reason is we win Japan. We go here. We tire. Select a bit, then we win champion. Yeah, we tire, we start slow, and then after that we rocket up multitudes.
Selek ini bahasa Indonesia apa guys?
Verizon's different too. They let everyone in my family choose different plans. We get what we want and we save money.
Apa ya ayu nih? Buat tapi.
An update is required. Financial system updating. System updated.
We will dance to get.
The future of money is here. Feels good.
Siapa nih yang akan juara guys?
You have to win against the best. So looking for revenge.
Getsu. Oke, kita habis ini masuk ke game kedua guys. Itu kita ada pertandingan dari GX musuh Sentinel ya.
Hey guys, Mika here with Alex of PRX. Congratulations on the first
Malam-malam,
round
guys.
of Champions Paris. That was a bit closer than many expected though. So what do you think it was? Was it PRX with a bit of a slow start, or was it XLG doing something that surprised all of you?
Ntar guys,
Yeah,
ambil
first of all, I think
jasa.
XLG is a very good team. You know, they champions of Stage 1 China. They have the MVP in their team. Aside from that, I think both teams are a little bit nervous. So you could see like the games were. I mean, everyone was trying to take their time and relaxing a little bit, trying not to make mistakes. So I believe that now that everyone's warmed up, I think the second game will be a banger.
Oh, that's a teaser. Well, good luck to you guys.
PRX, they take map 1 here, but they did have to work for it, Ender and Doug. It wasn't easy by any means. So if we take a look at the HyperX reflex moment here from Viva, this was ridiculous.
This was absolutely insane. So No Man gets cleared down short. And then look at these shots from Viva. So quick on the adjustments. It's like one shot miss, instant reset headshot. Miss, instant reset headshot. Just sick.
Yintu, I think you said it exceptionally well. They pushed PRX. I think they had a really good idea on their attacking side. We talked a bit about the Waylay versus the Raze and how, traditionally speaking, the Raze fits a little bit more, but maybe they'd be missing a little bit of that, you know, Joker in their hand, a little like trick to try to make their attack side a little bit more, a little bit stronger. But I love the way they layered their utility. I think there were often times that PRX looked a little overwhelmed on sites. They did a really good job of chaining those together, and it was enough in the first half, but then everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah, it was. If we take a look at the post-one, we can tell they've given us a reason to believe why they picked Vine.
Well, I think the first thing is, I think XLG really locked in the post plants, and we're very aware of the flanks. You heard Alex talking about it. I think PRX were going way too often for walk-ups and going for flanks, and the crowd here is going wild for the flanks, it sounds like. But honestly, I think XLG held their ground really nicely, and specifically Viva and No Man's Sky. You know, great game, great player. Absolutely popping off in these late rounds.
And again, I think it was, they understood their game plan was utility jump onto the site, get out there. And once you get there, once you get into a post plan, they've got PRX figured out a little bit, but they also knew what their protocol was.
I even love the creativity of like Viva realizing 3 people are on the flank. He drops the Brimald, right? Just to delay, and he ends up going down, but you still see those moments where I think XLG did a very good job of adjusting to the chaotic style that PRX were bringing.
They did, definitely, indeed. This is the thing, though. If it weren't for, you know, the Something Jing duo doing so well, being able to bring this game back, it could have been, you know, even an overtime, I think, the way that XLG were playing.
I think there's a world where, like, without Something just dominating, like, 3 rounds in the first half and solo winning them, like, XLG could have been up 8 or 9 at the half, but it's brought down to 6 and 6 because the great work out of Something, and him and Jing just crushed.
Yeah, in the second half. Ender, I think you're absolutely right. If it was not for Something stabilizing in that first half, it probably gets away from them in the first half. And then, you know, Alex was talking about it in an interview. They needed to calm down a little bit. They were kind of overswinging. They were a little bit too up. But if not for Something's heroics, we're talking about an entirely different half and potentially an entirely different score here.
He was given it as well, which is crazy, you know.
Yeah, out of his seat a little bit.
I love to see it. I would also love to hear what Havoya had to say, of course, standing by with Mika Faz ahead of map 2.
I'm here right now with Havoya of XLG. Now, that was a very tough first map. I wanted to ask about the bind pick because this is one of PaperX's strongest maps. It's also a strong map for XLG, but I was just curious on your thoughts on picking that map, and was it because you felt like the ban on Lotus was more important for PaperX?
I think first of all, PaperX feel themselves better on Lotus, but also we feel fine on bind. It was just like a tough series for us, and I mean the map, and we dropped some ecos. Also, we didn't manage to win second pistol. I think if we could step up a little bit earlier, I think it could be our map. So it is what it is. Let's move on the second map.
Right. Well, hopefully they step up a bit more on Sunset.
What are their chances on Sunset? If on Bind, you guys weren't super sure why they chose this, does it get better on Sunset for XLG?
No. Honestly, I mean, we were a little bit surprised with the bind coming through, but it was sort of a secret weapon map for them in the playoffs for the team. So I think bind was almost a must-win in the series, with it being PRX's choice here.
Which is almost unfair to ask, given that you're going against an undefeated PaperX on bind. But I'm inclined to agree with you. It did feel like a must-win, and as we turn our attention over to Sunset, again, there's going to be a Sage. We're going to see that. For the first time on the global stage, for sure, the buffed stage and kind of how that changes playstyle.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's less of a major change to the playstyle. It gives you a lot more ability to like react, put down a wall from a further range as you're rotating in or something like this to put it down. But I think for XLG, what they will have been focusing on in a lot of the prep work, coming in knowing that high chance that Sunset is going to be coming through in the map here, is when they're working against PRX's defense. PRX puts up so much of a fight into the mains, A main, B main, and I think that XLG need to be very snappy at punching these forward positions. I think having a Neon and a Yoru in your comp to take down those angles is a good spot.
Oh, it's Noman's not playing Deadlock anymore. It's going to be Noman, Neon, and Raga Yoru. I really like this.
I do too.
I like it a lot.
I'm completely on board with this. I think you have so many different fighting tools, again, to punish PaperX overextending, and again, you call it overextending, but they are often dominating on those forward lines. I think also with the way that Noman was dominating back on Bind, you could not ask for a better guy to be stepping into that second duelist role for the team here on Sunset.
I think this might be his 7th or 8th agent that
he
played on this team.
Literally everything.
Yeah. You're right.
3 kali play 100%
When
win
I
rate.
saw the change from Waylay to Raze, I thought, okay, they're going to want to fight it out with PaperX, and I think we saw a lot of that in the first half. I think this follows that same line of thinking. They're going to want to duke it out with PaperX, and that's a hard thing to do. They did it in the first half, kind of fell apart in the second half. I'm hesitant to see this on Sunset.
Yeah, and if that map was PaperX needing to warm up, they're going to get scarier, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be more warmed up on Sunset. It is their map pick. But there is a switch up on the side of the comms, at least for XLG, so maybe that's throwing another spanner in the works for them. I don't know how you guys feel, but I would love to hear what Mitchman and Tombiz thinks about that little agent change.
Well, Tom, how's that tickled your fancy?
I don't know. I feel like being a little bit more boisterous could be nice. I think Noman definitely had a few moments individually.
Oke, game kedua guys ya.
Almost beat PaperX with firepower and aggression. It might not work. I think it's a bold play. I do want to focus though on Happyway because I feel like
masih sama.
First map, and he's someone that the Des highlights. I like
100% win rate.
as one of their best players individually. He's now a pivotal part, especially on the defense and on the lurk. If he's having a poor performance, PaperX win easy.
No, without a doubt. As you said as well, looking at Neon, it will be point of contact. No Man's Sky was stellar when it came to that first map.
Look at the
PaperX, they didn't get the memo. They think they're still on the attack side. They have pushed through mid with 3. Full control, 4 in fact. You can count the player towards the door of Patman, who will be safeguarding Market. But this is all about the flank game, and there is, luckily, a trap waiting for them there. So it won't be a complete surprise that there's someone there. It just might be a bit of a surprise quite how many players Happyway is about to see.
Yeah, Patman's the only player elsewhere, down to 1 HP already, so I have to be a bit more careful. But you can see they have switched up where they are defending this spike from, or pushing all the way around. It hasn't mattered though. The swarm that is PaperX has given them an advantage, and Device is going to start defusing. He's just going to stick behind the wall. They need to run back around. It seems like they are not going to be able to deal with anything. It is diffused in front of their nose. Roger, he did well. And I think Devi even stopped for a second. He was like, okay, someone's going to jump on this wall. And then they didn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were too busy dealing with players towards main. It's a nasty little strategy and one that has worked wonders. There was a gap on the, on the left side here, as we see it from Forsaken's perspective. It could have been exploited on the wraparound as well, so no surprise that he was a little bit worried. In the end, Rorga surviving on 1 HP, but it doesn't make a difference. It is 1-0 start for PaperX. We want to see XLG on the board early because we saw it in the last one. PaperX slow to start. We even heard it in the comms. They called it. Let's start slow, and then we get them. Paraphrasing.
Yeah, you can't start a train at full speed. That's not how it works.
That is true. Got to pick it up. They only had to dock into the station, speak with the conductor, Alex, once.
Something.
And it was plain sailing.
I love watching something because, like, you would see him play an agent that you think is like, okay, supportive util, lineup. And then he's playing contact with a sniper rifle at B-Main. It doesn't necessarily add up. I also love the fact that we've seen these changes to Sage, obviously making the range of that wall so much further. So Devi obviously places it 2 millimeters away from where he is. Yeah. This round, expectation incredibly low. Any weaponry drop would be nice, and hey, Braga has dropped one of the rifles, and that should be retrievable. Good selection, though, from something.
Will be retrievable, but at a heavy cost indeed.
Watching.
He's down to 15.
Last
thing. Swing as something covers that. 2-0 start for PaperX. 4 players alive. Big weapon still carried through, and it's a strong start. But this round is really where we get the litmus test. A good sign early on, though, is seeing Rorga be able to deliver. As we said, he's someone that comes into, as he said as well, he's someone who comes in here with something to prove, and he's certainly playing like it.
Yeah, I definitely think so. As I said, like last time we saw XLG at Masters, it wasn't really anything to write home about. Like, obviously, we've seen them have a fair few roster changes throughout the year, trying to fill in for you, and I don't mean you, obviously.
For me?
No.
Shadows traveling. You're trying to replace me, Thomas. It's like Baby Bay. It's all right. I'm ready to play.
Okay.
Me against him.
Your Phoenix might be better than his. We'll have to
Oh, well, there's no need for that.
This purchase is definitely an odd one, though. You've got yourself a Bucky and for Forsaken. Sting is still in play. Like, this is around the XOG nigh on half to win. Otherwise, the amount of economy upgrades that there will be. Dimensional Drift only 1 away as well. Could be powerful in that post plant, but it is a wide net currently being thrown out by XLG. And while Forsaken mentioned that he had a weaker gun, it didn't stop him taking a fairly aggressive angle.
45 on the clock, fairly committed from XLG. They got to go towards this site. Jing to deal with to start. Great stun, but he gets out of there thanks to the blast packs. Well placement. 35 now. XLG got to pick up the pace. Wrapping around, but PaperX are flooding back into the site. 3 players here now with one deeper towards the spawn. This is essentially a 4-man hold. 25 seconds, and they call for the rotate. It's the right call. They've dragged all these players over. And they'll make their way across mid with that smoke with ease. This should be a plant, but I'm always wary of PaperX's ability to be disruptive. Something, he's in there. Only one.
Yeah, and they've managed to make it to the side. The spike was being guarded all the way through. A good redirection, especially with the Sage Wall being used in towards the spawn. There was the box up top that you would have had Devi watching from afar. And now even with no man in the spawn, just waiting to try and catch them as they fall out. The fact is, though, PaperX, all of these guns are going to be upgraded in the next round anyway, so they might as well try and do some damage.
That's exactly what they're looking for. You see all this deep clears of middle. The idea is certainly in their head that someone could be lurking around. Rifle picked up for Devi as well. Good chance to make these exits very costly. He will close in towards this spawn. I don't think Jing has any chance of... Oh, actually, he might have a chance to have an impact. He goes back to mid.
Devi
is shut down. Okay, 2-1. 4 players alive for XLG. That's a
Mario
Devi.
Yeah, and that's exactly as clean as it needed to be. It definitely got a little bit dangerous, and as we mentioned, like, you're always going to see these sort of timing fights looking to be utilized by the side of PaperX. It gets them a lot of early information. So I like the fact that with 20 seconds left, they were willing to sort of gamble on that rotation, not fearful that they'll be caught somewhere else. Even still, though, it's going to be an immediate purchase back up from the side of PaperX, and I'm kind of looking at Raga here. He's going to immediately utilize that dimensional drift. Bear in mind, the only weapon he has is the shorty.
Perfect for this ultimate. One flash left. Oh, he's come out without one. Moving around through the smokes, but the wraparound for Patman. Quick on his feet. He'll take Raga down. Now it's Rifles, though, that they will be up against. The trick play hasn't worked. Devi's dead. Dead to rights. It's even a headshot from Noman to lock it in. But still, a 2 versus 4. Can't even get the 3 out before Patman's dealing with another. PaperX holding strong so far. And Happyway failing to take down Jing. Now that's the information. The element of surprise gone for his position. The wraparound super late from Forsaken. It's going to cause issues, but Viva seemed aware of it. The timing, though, he corrects in time, but he can't quite land the shot.
Yeah, it's been a lot of moments, especially with how low some of these players are, but there's a chance.
Something.
Tinta ini.
Kelas.
Raring to go on this defensive half. A third
Let's go, PRX.
picked up, and I have to say that the orb placement coming out from Patman there in the early stages of that round was just wonderful. Like you see this attempt to play into the back of the site, and he's just denied all of it, just keeping hold of that control.
Yeah, it's the fact that he's able to walk into spawn to be safe and then back out with his smoke, right? It's so much value delivered as a result of that. I'm not sure what's being said there. I love these guys. The energy on the stage is different, and 3-1 up. Energy will only increase as these rounds keep going their way, but PaperX, deep play, caught by the stun, caught by the paranoia. Jing stuck in the corner, and they know it, but in goes Devi, happy to help out his buddy, set him up for success. Forsaken's found one elsewhere, but Jing looking the wrong way, will be dropped by Noman. We're back to a 3v3. Spike still secure for XLG, and this map, it doesn't get any smaller. The less players to defend it, this should be an advantage for the attacking side.
Yeah, it feels like the first 15 to 20 seconds of the round lead to those early battles, and then there's a break in the action. I do feel like XLG throughout this matchup so far have actually done quite well to deny a lot of these plays from PaperX. I think it was even Noman just having a reactive stun immediately to try and slow that push. Now with 50 seconds left, early rotation available. Orpho second up top, but he has been dealt with immediately. Noman doing well on this Neon. Spike will now be planted.
They know players on side are stuck there. Snakebite stops them from falling back and stops Happyway from helping out, but now it's faded. Happyway on the angle, looking for the fight, finding it, and Noman tripling up. That's what we needed to see. XLG won't let PaperX run away with this as they push up to 2.
Yeah, I was definitely a little bit skeptical with Noman going onto the Neon. I think definitely a role that he has played quite a bit in terms of that individual brilliance. I think we saw some of the skill in the last map, but as said, even some of the reactive stuns he's putting out, willing to sort of take a bit of a gamble, take a risk versus these players, and the timing was in his favor, but even just winning, some of the fights that maybe he necessarily shouldn't. Not even flexing while he does it. 3-2. The economy of PaperX has taken a hit here, though. A pistol for something, although at times it doesn't even feel like a detriment.
Well, PaperX, think back to the last map when they had that astonishing, I think, round 5 bunch of pistols in play, and that's maybe the most dominant that they'd looked. For XLG, ulti's available. They need those safety nets. It rotates from Coconut, the information. You have a Hunter's Fury soon. Deep play from Noman. No ult popped. It's down to his rifle. But Coconut's fallen in middle. Raga, good to trade that back. Now they've sensed the weakness. Blood in the water, but Forsaken still standing strong. Deep fight from Noman, though, has managed to pull this back to a 3v3, and with the ult pop, he's got a tough fight up against Jing, and he won't win it. But with Forsaken going down, the numbers keep going back and forth till there's only 2 men left standing.
The 1v1 that leaves the Sovas on either side. Position to plant.
Something
is going to get away with it. It was kind of as easy as that 1v1 could have gone, but that was, I felt like that. I always talk about an observer's nightmare as a round where there's just a million pieces. I feel like that was it. It was
Duduk aja kamu.
all on different points of the map, like timing to catch out Patman, the drop down avoiding the fake out. Jing winning the battle versus a slightly shaky No-Man, and then coming all the way down to the 1v1 at the end is PRX to keep their lead, extend it a little further. But there is still investment here for either side. In fact, both teams' economy here is on the brink. It's only something that has a few extra credits to spare, so a winner of this round, it could be worth a double.
This is going to be so punchy. Could even have a Hunter's Fury off rip coming through from Viva. They want to get aggressive. They want to play this one fast. You can already see No-Man taking space. Paranoia burned by PRX early to try to slow them down. Jing goes in swinging. Won't find much. And TP from Coconut. He's deep in their spawn. They are making so much pressure towards this A site. Forsaken, he doesn't crumble under that pressure to start, but finally, he will come crashing down. A 4 versus 3. Res possible for PRX, but the positions of those bodies, it doesn't make it look
And Batman.
very likely. Happyway's got beautiful timing, but the shots don't land. Luckily, Rarga's there, picking up the pieces and leaving something alone and trapped in with the enemy. He can't even get out till that wall fades, and he will be cut down to size before that happens. Great round from Happyway after a little shaky of a start.
Yeah, like he gets the job done, but I think also the hesitation there is that he realizes how much value his position holds.
Ayo, Batman!
Guys, they can potentially be isolated on the site. Instead, him staying alive is much more of a burden than even the individual kill that he could have got instead. And this is sort of the Happyway I wanted to see. Like, yeah, sure, still maybe a few jitters here and there, but the guy is always good at having those backstabs, always good at sort of having those multi-frag rounds. And I like the change of pace from XLG. I said so far, I feel like even in the last map, they called a decent game. Like, it didn't look like they were getting outclassed.
And the important thing there is, right, PRX.
Apakah bisa menang ini guys, PRX
They
guys.
have numbers, but they have the wall behind them, so they're not even worried about a mid flank coming through. Everybody is focused on that choke point, and Coconut being able to go into the spawn makes that much more difficult to do. The guys on site can't just swing out wide and hold the short fight. They can't just look for the elbow duel because they'll be shot up from spawn potentially. And you have all of these headaches created for PRX. That very much felt like PRX getting a taste of their own medicine.
Back to a low bite. Can see how slow and methodical being on the other side.
Last.
Forsaken has been able to take that first fight. Now the move away is somewhat to sell a ruse for something, but he's going to be able to hear any of the steps as they rotate. They've still got this aggressive position from Jing. Bear in mind, he does have the showstopper available. Probably won't want to use it immediately, but no, never mind. He's going to go straight in, and the steps were faked out. That was Rarga's utility that has baited the ultimate, but now they go back towards something. Are they going to check the box? No, they're not, but it's whippy. Not quite connecting. Divine now the next man up, and Happyway just thriving. The Dane just seemingly slipping out of the round. And what could have been incredibly costly ends up with still
santai tuh, santai.
Great correction from the previous map where PRX were finding so much value with these weaker weapons. Forsaken, the only player that, well, he didn't have that much of a weaker weapon. He had the Guardian. Wasn't the Sheriff doing the work. And he's recovered a rifle, a chance to do more damage. Surely the round win is already lost.
I'm starting to question that.
It could be an ace, but the problem is you've got Viva deep playing with that Hunter's Fury! And Forsaken now only has that ult to deal with. He now knows where his opponent is, but the Hunter's Fury surely decides the fate of this round. It's already activated. It might seem early, but the time on the clock is already so low. Forsaken goes in, pops it, goes for the stick. He might have time. It's going to be desperately close. The spam coming in from Viva doesn't get there in time! But it's a 0.02-second difference. Blink and you miss it, but that margin of error swings in XLG's favor.
So you know earlier where I said it might take a while to beat that 1v4?
Hampir
We
guys.
almost just had it beaten, and it was 0.02 that made it not. That's absurd.
I can feel myself swallowing my own words.
But I'll be honest with you. You doubting Forsaken in this clutch, I'm a little bit disappointed.
They have Hunter's Fury post plant in a 3v1 with the spike planted ages ago.
But Forsaken.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd like to argue with you, but what we just saw means my point's invalid.
Oh, that was so desperately close.
0.0, that's ridiculous.
Wow.
Nice shot.
You can see the confidence right back in. Aggressive start, but this is what I'm saying. XLG have always been doing well to recover any of those early advantages that PRX are able to gain. expecting to be challenged. He's going to spot nothing outside the A site, and because of that, it's allowed for an immediate rotation for Forsaken to get back into B. They have definitely been read, and in fact, Jing can now just lock them in.
Smoke up, it's decently deep, but that drone, oh, it didn't see him. He's gotten inside the smoke. Forsaken.
Class.
Beautiful from PRX with Jing wrapping around the
Class,
other side.
guys, class.
Slip through the smoke. It's been a problem. A couple of times you've seen that finesse from PRX and being quick on their feet, able to get especially smokes, poison orbs, it doesn't matter what it is.
Marah.
Able to get that
Ayo, kok
positional
Caleg marah
advantage
dong.
in some of these plays. Even still,
Nice.
around gap
Nice. Aduh, eman guys. Bingung gak weh, ayo, bingung gak weh. Bingung. Aku ya bingung nek main ngono kuwi.
It's not looking great, is it?
No.
Four sheriffs, an attack side Bucky. Makes a bit more sense when it's on the neon. Slide in, get real close.
Oh yeah, I've seen plenty of TikToks of that sort of gameplay. We'll see if No Man has it in the locker. It might not matter. Already one going to his teammate, and there you go. That's a Bucky onto Jing. This fast-paced 1-2 punch of the duelists have not only
kalah for
but
second,
it's
so.
also got them in with that weaponry. And the bigger danger as well is, okay, sure, you had yourself the ultimates. Hunter's might now be able to cause some damage. No Man gone, rifle dropped, drone already being sent through. Raga just immediate on the headshot.
Not hit by the drone either. He sticks around. Divido, the one to punish him. The res available. There's a player that can be res. There it is. Patman's brought back. Even numbers. And it gets Coconut curious. He swings out looking for the duel, but now they'll go pushing into him. Viva down, and it's Happy Way against two. But he's brought it to the 1v1. 6 HP. A headshot needed, but it's Divide jumping with the shorty to close this one out. A round that should have been PRX's.
If they lost 2 rounds to time with that close, that would have been madness. But unfortunately, the ring around the rosy, the only man falling down in this case was Happy Way. Nice shot from Raga. In fact, an excellent round from him in general. Making this one competitive. I feel like No Man actually walked further into that shot dart rather than away from it. But you understand the panic. A nice attempt, very low by round. Definitely.
I think he was doubting it as well.
Well, he has just watched the spike go for 0.0. So you can kind of understand why he's nervous, but not quite as close.
Yeah, the flashback's definitely hitting hard there.
Yeah, XLG.
6-4. XLG, they've called a timeout here on their attack side. That's their first one used, and indeed the first one of this map. It has been a pacey set of rounds. I've liked, as you've said, the direct approach. Even here, they had sheriffs, they had a Bucky. We started out, it doesn't look too good, and it comes down to a 1v1 with
mixed it up a lot as well. I think that's what, whenever I see a team that can only like dive or only do executes, I'm like, okay, this is an average team with maybe great coaching staff, but it feels like a lot of the sort of slower rounds with mid-rounding, I've been impressed by XLG, and you take away the pistol and the follow-up, and this is an incredibly close match. The problem, though, is now they are in a case of this ends 6-6, you go into the second half, you're happy. If this ends 8-4, I think most people will have a lot of faith in the attack side of PRX to be able to close this one out.
Well, touching base as well before we get back into the round, just on Happy Way, someone you highlighted as he had a tough, and the desk highlighted, had a tough map previously, and look at him now, 11-7. He's been there on this attack side in the previous round, almost ended up winning it out on time in the 1v3. Impressive performance. Well, Raga's going to wait for his teammates to break that wall open. It's going to limit how far he can get. He can barely make it to the backside. Instead, he's going to tuck in default. Hunter's Fury coming through. Fired in deep from something. Clearing out these close corners on the site. Not finding any tags, but delaying the push.
It didn't really allow for much space to get back in either from the side of PRX. They're waiting to move as a unit. Patman does have ult, but unless they really need this space, it's going to be tough. The Vigo's a little bit ahead. They were still setting up utility on the remaining players, and No Man has been able to take that close contact and put them into spot, and especially with Forsaken coming in on this flank, he's
Ayo, 4 second. Kamu bisa 4
That's why
second.
nobody's looking in this direction. If this smoke fades, he might just have himself at least one freebie, but he's looking for more. In fact, he's going to
Kelas.
take it all! Forsaken! A one-man retake! And another on the board for PRX.
Dak.
Shrouding his steps to great effect. He made it past that trap. As you said, camera placed deep on the site. They're worried about the retake from Market. They're worried about early contact for the player over on that box and backside. And instead, he smokes main, so they think, well, he's obviously not coming from here. They want to block this line of sight. And the timing could not have been better. That round was forsaken for XLG. The timeout making no difference.
Sit down.
And one round left to play with. For XLG, 7-5
Sit down,
move to the defense where we've had our
Thank you. Halo yang baru.
But will they be a pistol round away from correcting the score line or trailing by 4?
This is where the last round really could give them a little bit of wiggle room. Well, we've said that it's been a closer affair than maybe expected, but if it ends 2-0, ends 2-0. They'll still be yet to win a map at a VCT international event. Maybe after how close the first one seemed, they might feel a little bit hard done by for that, but it won't change a thing. Already you can see some of the vulnerabilities, and more worryingly, it's that showstopper Viper's Pit on the other
Halo
side.
yang baru,
There's
coy.
so much to play with in this final round and a half.
Halo, gimana?
Oh, the showstopper! It's found 3! Jing! That's unbelievable! XLG put it all into this, a round that can correct the wrongs of this half, but that has come falling apart. An explosive entrance into B main from Jing. An 8-4 locked in PRX, doubling the score of their opponents in that first half.
It's just absolute insanity. Like it just came down to a
Apa
lot
ya,
of
Kinan?
contact plays. Jing managed to get it done. Nonetheless, it's a pretty big recovery. We'll see if XLG can turn it going into the second half.
Arung bambu. Bambu ini mana? Kok lali ya aku ya? Sik. Oh, Mbak Nani toh. Sehat, Mbak. Sehat kak iki saiki. Wis suwe aku gak tau mampir ya. Pira tahun wis? 5 tahun ya terakhir aku. Wis suwe rek gak tau ketemu. Sehat. ...2020 ya? Sebelum corona malah aku 2019 terakhir. Saya guys 2025. Rabi kok nggih. Rabi kurang ki ayo. Oh kok gurung nih Pi. Yang rabi loh. Masuk kurangan cowok Dan jaga warung bambu loh Mbak.
Welcome back folks. The halftime concluded and it's time to get back.
Kantore yo cek ndek Trawulan to yo, kantore OT. Apa wis pindah yo?
Well, it has to be said, PRX, they should be leading in terms of the stats, 8-4 up.
Yeah, for sure. It's been one of those games where there's been a lot of crazy things, and a lot of it happened just in the last couple of rounds. If you've just joined us, you've missed a lot. I think we had a 0.02 spike exploding.
Lagi pindah apa wis ket biyen
Forsaken. He then decided, okay, I'm just going to stick to the 4Ks for today, come back behind and eliminate the whole opposing team in a retake. And then the next round, Jing decided to get 3 with a showstopper
Yeah,
at the very beginning of it and end it before it even began. For XLG, this now comes down to player resilience. Like, can you turn the tide? And I'll be honest with you, Mitch, I think it starts with a pistol.
Very much so.
Bertahun-tahun loh sih dealing rek bungkam aku.
Skyrocketing into the lead, a 9-4, probably 10 on the board, and then they're already on the home stretch while XLG
Siap, thank soon.
clamor their way back into the game or attempt to. I like this early play, similar to what PRX did. 3 players, walkabouts on mid, 1 late towards A, but it's pressure on Happyway. He can't overextend and go down, just falls back. Looks to punish anyone over-aggressing and hopes that this flank can find a lot of value. But PRX look like they want to play aggressive.
Well, this is where the wall causes issues.
Belakang
Block
guys.
off one avenue and then try to pressure the other. The only thing they really need to worry about
Kali
is
aku
the flank.
jenenge sapa
Section
mbiyen?
everything else off, and actually, no, they're looking the wrong way. Completely the wrong way. They've been foiled by their own plot. But there's still a couple of players standing. Jing, Forsaken, not in the best of positions to try and deny this, but that time is already ticking. Only somebody just getting onto the spike. They need to try and wrap back around, and that's exactly
Kelas Forsaken again.
in this match. This man could do no wrong.
Kelas Forsaken.
Oh, his impact has been outrageous. That pistol round was slipping through their fingers. The flank that should have been expected. When he found his 4K from main, there was at least a trap there, giving him some security on the other side, but PRX had no reason to believe that that space was clear. They get caught off guard, and it's just so nasty.
All I'm going to say is he's already got a bracelet on one arm. I think he's looking for a bracelet on the other. If he keeps this sort of performance up the entire tournament, I think he's going to be dual-wielding by the end.
Kelas ya guys ya.
This man knows how to put up MVP performances, and while map number 1, he always said that the agent he'd never played was Brimmy. He started playing the Brimmy, and it didn't look fantastic, but stick the man on an Omen.
Map 1 nih pas.
I said it was almost imperative for XLG that they get themselves a pistol. 9-4 down, their opponent's map choice. PRX going into the attack half. When they have shown strength on this map, that's where it's been. Solid victories on that side versus Sentinels, Fnatic, T1 more recently. And it was a defensive side defeat when they struggled versus Zeta. Everything is set for them to now take this map.
What's a good stack from XLG. 4 players on the B side, 2 of them with Sheriffs. The other on the polar opposite of where this hit's coming through. A lot of players from PRX, though, covering this plant. They've got numbers even after the mags run dry. Shot over the wall, and it looks like a lot of the danger already dealt with. No man traded out, and that's really the story of this take. Even if one player lands that first shot, PRX flooding in like this, they've got the numbers to back it up. Finally, it will be divided close, and 10-4.
Let's go, PRX.
This was not the round XLG were fighting for. It all comes down to round 15. Rifles in play, both sides.
Yeah, well that was the investment of the last round. It was mostly into stingers, a couple of rifles. I also think this is the point you'll make a lot of the time when it comes to Sage. There's been critique a lot through history of this agent, but one thing it gives you, especially on a map like this with a lot of different elevations, is sometimes you don't know the angles you're covered or not, and that's about as free as a kill as you're ever going to get. Because let's be real, there aren't that many teams that play with the Sage. Okay, a very aggressive early start to the round, but it is No Man. So far with him on the field. And he started off strong again.
Well, yeah, it's No Man and Jing both trying to get that early contest for this corner. And even with the Boombot backing him up, Jing can't get it done. Forsaken, I think, heard that cam activate. Certainly now did. He knows it's there. He's calling for it. And we see the pings that he wants to walk on through. Has to catch a timing. Even with that smoke, a TP will be heard. He'll be seen walking through. Nice shot by No Man yet again, delivering. And as he looks up at the cam, that's a wonderful punish. What is going on with something here? And a swing from No Man that gets punished. Something's got 3. And I think Devi is about to go down. He's trapped in the corner with a sliver of HP. But in comes his own buddy. Something here to save the day is for this fifth.
Please.
From something. And XLG XLG from 1 foot in the grave to buried deep behind round after round of Paper X success.
I need to see the POV on the first 2 kills, because I feel like there were 2 players in elbow, and I don't really understand how he's walked out of it alive. Oh, they're just isolated. Okay, fair enough. He gets 2 bites of the cherry. It's incredibly clean, though. An absolute headshot machine throughout the round, and I don't even know if he reloaded in the middle of all of that. It was always going to be one of them, you felt like, to take the first ace of the tournament, and something will be there. Mentioned maybe Forsaken looking for another bracelet. Maybe he's looking for one that goes with his keyboard.
We'll have to be in gold. 11-4. And a timeout for XLG. Oh.
At these last few rounds, it hasn't even felt like the round 14. You're talking about you're on eco. Round 13, you probably should have won, but Forsaken clutches it out.
Yep.
Round 15, you probably should have won, but you get aced. Like, what are you going to say? Oh, we need to get together a little bit more.
Don't let Forsaken get a 4K. Don't let something get an ace, and we're good. And that's the thing, I feel like...
It's crazy that you retired as a coach in 2020. Or was it 2021?
I didn't say retired. I'm still open to offers.
Oh, okay.
I'll evaluate in the offseason.
Maybe when Alliance come back, you'll get another job.
I think that's the only way. I'm happy where I'm at for now. Let's put it that way. I think I'm better suited, hopefully. But for Paper X, 11 rounds on the board. XLG in a position where this is really a rock and a hard place. Do you fully invest now? Do you wait? They're going to come in with 2 Guardians, mostly keeping some credits for the next. Nice opening from Devi. And this should be a relatively easy round. That was one of the Guardians that he took down, though. The main punches that they're packing.
Okay.
Full blinded up. Patman still looked like he was close to taking that kill.
Yeah, that's a pretty hefty upgrade.
Patman. Are you okay, Patman?
To risk it. Nice. Also, Forsaken's been caught TPing. This is putting them in a good spot. Bear in mind, there's spike plant here for Devi. Would get him his ultimate online. And likely bring back someone who's been terrifying if it even gets to that point, because they've already got an advantage.
Yeah, worth putting it in, obviously, in this position. If something can fade back, this is where you'll see your Sova play in main. Most of the time, Hunter's Fury for post-plan, but no, they want to fight. Of course they do. This is Paper X we're talking about here. What's going on? Is that fight? Devi closes it out. That came down to a 1v1. They needed a 3K and the res to get it across the line, but you know what? A round's a round. 12
Last,
now
guys.
for Paper X.
There's so much I hate about this round. Like, it was just like, at this point, you can feel like they are just vibing with how aggressive they're being. TP into the side with basically nothing alongside it. A complete and utter whiff, running into a smoke in between a wall, so there's only the tires of angles. And yeah, that is a nervous smile if ever I've seen one.
Like Ace like 2 rounds ago.
Yeah.
Well, here's
and
the
it's popped the Hunter's Fury immediately.
It's an early one, and it's Forsaken going deep on the back of the Chaos. Viva, good for the trade, and Noman doing the same. Noman's light on the A side. Noman's the last point of defense, so he'll fall back. Won't continue the aggression. While the rotate had come through, Viva, who started over here towards A, went back to take that kill and spawn, drones out mid, clears it, and they're comfortable now that there's no more pressure on A with that deep control coming in from Noman. There's nothing on mid. They weren't looking, they weren't walkabouts. So the B sites where the hit should be coming through. They'll keep in 2-2. But Happy Way and Coconut, they're the ones that have a chance to keep their team in it here and now.
Cage immediately used. Going through all of this utility. Feels like a little bit of a risk. Paranoia even being thrown through as well. So they're going to know that there's a couple of players here at least. Curious to see if Paper X still opt to actually execute in this direction. They're throwing in more utility. Boombot to clear close.
35 seconds. Now we're limited on options. We gotta go, but the spams through the smoke. They'll take down Devi in the choke point. The shock dart's fantastic, and the swings are even better. XLG with a round win, still trailing by 7. But they gotta take this comeback one step at a time.
Comeback kah XLG?
As well, it really does feel like the Sage Wall, how far you can get it now, actually makes things really interesting, because Devi put that wall in from inside main. Like, he was just like, I might as well give it a go, just try and give us a little bit of extra space, but it feels like it goes incredibly
Comeback kah
far.
XLG?
Because I I feel like a lot of the aspects of what people using this were before were basically boosting themselves up. Brings a slight bit of tactical element to it. Well, a weak buy, but potentially a much faster one. I like the kill trips though.
Great trip positioning indeed. It's a little.
Never mind.
Oh,
Jing hit that. Happy way down and out. Jing revealed in the corner, but he's got backup now as they start to float back out. No man looking for market control as a deep late play from Patman. Will it be attempted? But there might not be anyone left to flank. Jing's already got 3.
He's still going.
Coconut's being watched on the flank as Jing looks for his 4th. He won't find it, but they'll clean up anyways. 13-5. 2-0. PaperX looking.
Oke, thank you guys yang udah nonton. Sampai jumpa besok guys ya. Dadah.